Alrighty guys, this might seem a little bit familiar, but welcome to a brand new Let's Play of Dragon Quest II HD-2D Remake. We previously covered Dragon Quest I HD-2D Remake on this channel, but I thought it's about time, especially with Dragon Quest VII Remake coming out very soon, for us to hop into the second game. So, let's go ahead and venture forth. We're going to go ahead and we already have our save file here for Dragon Quest I. This time, though, it's time to play Dragon Quest II. If you guys have not already, please go make sure to check out the Dragon Quest I series I have on this channel, as it will be very important for the events of this game going forward, because it's a prequel to this game. Many years have passed since Alefgard was saved at the hero's hand, earning him the same title as a storied forebearer. Now, there thrive 3 new kingdoms founded by this latest Erdrick and his scions. Yet so too thrives the darkness, a sudden invasion of malicious monsters, plunging the world into shadows once again. All that stands between the forces of evil and their wicked ambitions is a band of young princes and princesses of Erdrick's line. The time has come for them to venture forth and do their ancestor proud. Let's do it. We'll just choose Adventure Forth, create a new adventure log, and we'll choose the first one. We have to decide on a name. I believe this is our protagonist's name. I could be wrong, though. Let me check. Okay, yes, this is our protagonist's name. Why I asked that's going to be very important here in a little bit. Actually, in like this first cutscene. We'll go ahead and name our protagonist Tails, like usual. And there we go. We're happy to proceed with the name Tails. Yep. What language? We're going to go English. Do you want to display the location of your current objective on the map? Of course. Please select a difficulty mode. Ooh, what did I click? Oh, oh, thank God. I want to quickly talk about... Okay, I wanted to quickly talk about this. So essentially... If you guys saw my Dragon Quest I Let's Play, you already know this, but essentially Dragon Quest is your basic difficulty, whereas Draconian Quest is quite literally just the hard mode of the game. You're going to earn less money, you're going to earn less gold, you're going to earn less experience. It's just a harder experience overall, whereas Draki Quest is going to make it so that way you gain more experience and more money. I highly recommend you play the game on Dragon Quest, and if you ever need to just do mindless grinding, switch it over to Draki Quest. There is no downside to swapping between these. I believe it only matters what you actually beat the game on, but if it's same as Dragon Quest 3, there isn't even an achievement for beating it on a harder difficulty. So again, I recommend playing on Dragon. That's what I'll be doing, and if I ever need to just grind for money or gold, I'll swap it over to Draki Quest, just so we can get through it pretty quick. I don't like those settings, though. I want to make sure I have the location marked. And there we go. Let's go ahead and do it. You can change it at any time. This game does have autosaving as well when you enter and exit towns and dungeons.
Once upon a time, a young hero, descended from the legendary warrior Erdrick, defeated the dreaded Dragon Lord and restored peace and light to the world. Having done so, he set off on a journey with his new bride, and together they founded a kingdom of their own. This kingdom came to be ruled by their children, and by their children after them. Under the enlightened rule of the scions of Erdrick, the nation grew ever greater and more prosperous. As the years passed, other adventurous scions forged forth into the unknown, founding new kingdoms in their ancestors' image. Thus came there to be 3 nations ruled by those descended of the hero and his maiden. The first and oldest of the 3 was the Kingdom of Middenhall, named after the castle built by the hero and his bride.
Oh, my beautiful boy.
Thou wilt grow into a fine leader of the land. Of this I am certain.
After After Middenhall was founded the Kingdom of Canuck, a nation nestled betwixt misty mountains and lush forests.
Look, husband, he possesseth thy steely gaze.
A handsome devil, to be sure. Now, what name might befit one so dashing?
So this is why I was wondering when we would change the name. We're just going to be sticking with the default names. Caradoc, the Prince of Canuck. Go ahead and hit done. You can change it to whatever you want. I'll just be sticking with the canon names.
The very height of perfection, my dear. A mighty name for a yet mightier heir.
Lastly came the Kingdom of Moonbrook, founded by a spell-casting scion to whom weavers of magic flocked from the world over.
Dear, supposest thee the princes of Middenhall and Canuck might deign to play with our daughter when the three are older?
I doubt not but they shall forge a fellowship most firm, as I did with my cousins the kings. But first, she will need a name that befitteth her station. And, after great pondering, I believe I have happened upon just that. Come, lend me thine ear.
So we have to find a name for the Princess of Moonbrook, but we are going to stick with Hiranel. I think it's Perenel. I think it's P though. P-E. Hiranel. We'll go ahead and hit done. I like that name. That's all the names we get to choose.
And her future will be bright. I swear it.
Thus did the legendary line continue into another generation. Some years later.
Thou art grown most formidable. Thine ancestors' blood runneth strong in thy veins.
Oh, please, Father. Thou knowest full well mine abilities pale in comparison to thine. Thou hast mastered all manner of spells, of which I as yet know naught.
'Tis true, I was once a caster of no little renown, though now...
Father!
Alas, some matters are beyond even the purview of magic.
Come, Father. Let us repair to thy chamber. What now?
By the goddess! Guards! Assemble!
Majesty, I bring great tidings! Look out to report an army of fiends upon the horizon. They draw ever closer.
Curse thee, Hargon!
Hargon?
Muster the castle guard! Keep them out! I too will make...
Father!
Sire!
Care not for this old fool. Go to thy captain. Tell him...
I fear it is too late!
No! No!
Begone, fiends!
Father, what is happening? What will become of us?
Still thy heart. Thou shalt escape this place.
Oh, I'd recognize those ugly mugs anywhere. It's the king and his darling daughter. Lord Hargon was clear in his instructions. Let no one live.
Just as I feared. But wherefore now? It mattereth not. Moonbrook will not fall today. They knew our faces. Then I have no choice. This way, my child.
Father, please, I do not understand.
Listen to me. Thou hast thy mother's beauty and her wisdom. Thou wert ever our pride and our joy. Since the day of thy birth, everything I have done for thee. I would trade 1,000 lives to live this one with thee anew.
Thou speakest as if this is the last time we shall be together. I shall never leave thy side.
Come. This is my kingdom, and I refuse to relinquish it without a fight!
Squeeze! There he is! He may be old, but he knows a spell or two. Don't bite off more than you can chew.
Wherefore do you tarry so? Do not tell me you have had a change of heart. Today, you battled the bloodline of Heirs.
Must warn. Midden Hall.
Dang, good thing that wasn't our country, am I right? Look, we're all happy.
There thou art, beloved son.
Hello, Dad.
Though thou seemst mightily vexed. Didst thou dream ill-omened dreams, perchance?
Yeah, was that a dream?
Our dreams are the mirror of our souls, my boy. If ever aught should trouble thee, thou must needs share it. Thus is a problem halved, as the saying goes. But enough of such talk. Today is a day like any other, and thou must needs be about thy duties. Pray, Go into the streets of the city and walk amongst thy people. Speak to them of their hopes and fears, that thou might one day rule wisely over them. And thence to the practice ground, that thy sword might one day suffice to protect them. For thou art mine heir, but thou art also heir to mighty Erdrick, hero of legend, and thus is thy duty twofold. Thou must needs be king and hero both. 'Tis no easy path, but I trust that thou wilt tread it well.
Pray, stop by to see the item seller this day, Highness. Tidings oft travel fastest among those who cross the land in search of profit. There is much to be learned from such people, and thence to the captain of the guard, and learn that of the sword which he might see fit to teach thee.
Okay, Chancellor. I don't know if it's just me, but this game looks a little bit better than Dragon Quest 1, which is crazy, because it's the same game. Opening the main menu, you just press Y, and then you can actually recall cutscenes that you witnessed by pressing the start button. I am playing this on the Xbox, as I play all my Dragon Quest games on Xbox. But yeah, here we are. We are the Prince of Middenhall, I believe is our, Middenhall Castle. So, a couple things we can go over. You can see we have mini medals and tickets. Mini medals are a staple in Dragon Quest. There are actually 80 in this game. We'll be getting our first one very soon. And of course, if you look at our main menu, or our map rather, this is the world. I can't really draw a picture for you, but if you look over to the far left side, that's where Dragon Quest 1 and the second part of Dragon Quest 3 took place. Now, I'm sure you can figure it out. The map is, it's not going to be as big as Dragon Quest 1, like, it's going to be to scale. But yeah, that's the area we've been to already. There are a couple settings I'd recommend you change, as they are independent per game you're playing. Down here in system settings, I'd recommend turning your battle speed up to ultra fast. It just makes it a little bit easier. And then you can also do this suggested actions. This is essentially going to be if an enemy is weak to a certain move, weak to an element, it'll actually populate it and it'll show like a little exclamation point or an icon next to it, just making it a little bit easier for you in case you want to use the most efficient moves. And then you can do remember commands in case you just want to spam the same move over and over again. You can turn that one on. I'd always recommend keeping both of those on. On top of that, that one doesn't really matter. This is the quest tracker and objective markers. However, what I'm also going to be turning on are the treasure chest locations and the secret spots. These are things I'm going to be covering anyways and where the locations are, so I might as well just show them on the map once we can. So we'll turn all of that on. And then, of course, right here are some settings. Invincibility is only available on Draki quest mode, but essentially you will always survive at 1 HP unless you use the move Kaboom, or not Kaboom, I don't even remember what the name of the move is, but it's basically where you blow yourself up to deal damage. It's the only way to get past invincibility. And then I always recommend keeping Recover HP and MP on when leveling up. It's kind of a new thing in Dragon Quest. And then finally, I like to do toggle running instead of hold running. Just makes it a little bit easier to move around. And there we go. That is all the settings I personally would change. So with that, you can see we are level 1. Our character is the kind of jack of all trades character, just like most most main characters are in these games. So let's go ahead and head on downstairs to begin. And then over here, we're actually going to get our very first little things here. So we'll start in a different room, actually. So over here on the far left, every single area has interactables. So right there, you can see we got 14 coins. Pretty much anytime you see a pot, a drawer, or a dresser, or a barrel, make sure to interact with it. So for instance, right there is a feathered cap. And I don't think we actually need this book, but over here will be a pot we can interact with. This is going to have a Seed of Luck. That is essentially items that will give you permanent stat increases. And then over here, we can interact with this chest. I actually think this one's locked. Yeah, that's a red chest. We can't do anything with that yet. Right here are 3 gold coins. And right here is a set of plain clothes. And then if we leave this area, we can actually see if we open our map here. What's the quick way to open maps again? It's not RB. Could have sworn there was a quick way. Didn't I just do it? It was X. I could have sworn I just clicked it. You can see our church is just right here. This is where you can save, revive characters, get rid of any poisons or any curses you get on you. And then right down here, we can head over here. There'll be a pot right here with a medicinal herb for us. Really good early game. And if we actually take this teleporter, we'll actually be teleported to a place called the Shipwright's Shrine. It's a little tiny island here. You can actually open your world map to see where we are. We teleported very far, all the way to the southeastern corner of the world. And in here, we're going to go ahead and leave. And then we're going to go east from here. I believe from here we want to keep going this way. There's going to be a barrel here, a seed of strength for us. Up north this way will be some barrels we can interact with as well. All the way up here on the pier. Honestly, it does look really good. If you guys did go back and rewatch Dragon Quest 1 before this, I'm curious. I'm going to have to rewatch it myself and just see what the difference in graphics are, because it looks really good. That turbine is an upgrade for us, so we'll go ahead and throw it on. You can see it increased our defense by 3. Yeah, like the water, I could just be making this up. It's been like a month and a half since I've last played it, but it looks really, really good. It's not going to look as good as Dragon Quest 7 does here in a month, but still. Up here, we'll have another barrel we can interact with, or another pot for 15 gold coins. That's all there is here. If we wanted to, we could leave this area by going east. You can see that little green line right there to go out into the world map, but there's no reason to. So we're going to instead go ahead and return and head back through the teleporter. Every time we get to a town, what we're going to be doing is doing the same thing where we just go through all the different areas, find all the different chests and items we can, and then of course we'll be doing like cleanups where we'll come back, like we'll get a key that'll let us open red chests, and then we'll come back and open that red chest that we missed out on. And then we'll come back here later because this is actually where we want to go. This is the training hall. There's a cypress stick right there. That's where the captain of the guard is that he wants us to visit after we've walked around town. Then up here in the church, there should be, it might actually be a hidden item. Yeah, right here. This is going to be our very first mini medal. Again, there are 8 of them in this game. That's not nearly as much as some other Dragon Quest games if you've played any other ones, but it is more than the first one if that's all you've played. I think it's actually less than Dragon Quest 3. And then right over here, we can actually go ahead and run over to the east side. I just want to check the map. Yeah, I believe it's over where those locks are. And there should be a barrel around here. I see it right over here. And that's going to have a phial of holy water. We'll be able to open this later when we get the key to open red chests and red doors, as well as the key to open blue chests and blue doors right there. But unfortunately, nothing we can do just yet. And then right over here, behind this staircase, we can actually find another, right there. That is a seed of magic. That's it for the castle. We'll go ahead and head into town now, find all the items we can out there. If it's not obvious, we're going to be holding off on using the seeds until we really need it. Because we have multiple party members in this game, unlike Dragon Quest 1, there's no reason to just spam them as soon as we get them. Instead, we want to hold them out because every party member we get is going to have a different role to play. We want to make sure we maximize it the best we can. This is just going over running. Again, I've already toggled it, so I've been sprinting around this whole time. That way I do not have to hold. We're going to come over here, and we will find a pot right here that has a seed of strength in it. And then there will be a tree right here with a medicinal herb in the pot. And then we're going to go ahead and explore town. We're actually not going to talk to this person we're going to pass because this will keep us going through the main story. Instead, interact with that pot to get some gold coins. And in traditional Dragon Quest fashion, we can go ahead and jump down the well. Here will be a barrel for a seed of stamina, as well as a dresser for 13 gold coins. There's also this chest right here. Again, it's going to be the same as that blue door. We just can't do anything with it yet. And then this barrel right here has a phial of holy water. Let's go ahead and now leave. And then we're going to go west. And in this little corner right here, there is a Chimera wing. And then over here in the bottom left corner of town, there will be a... We don't want to go out of town on accident. Should be right around here. There'll be a pot we can interact with. Right there's 6 more gold coins. And then the southeastern corner, We'll have a barrel right here for us with some more coin, or a medicinal herb in this one. And then inside this building, you can see our very first chest we can open is just a regular red and gold chest. For our second mini medal, that is 2 of 80. And then we'll try to leave this building. Sometimes, because we're just little 8-bit sprites, it's a little bit more difficult. Right in here, I think just right outside the inn, we're going to find another, or an antidotal orb. I think that's actually our first one. And then over here, right around this area, we should find a seat of defense. Then we're going to go ahead and head inside the inn. It's going to tell us basically we can heal. And right here is a chest that you can only get if you have any DLC or pre-order bonuses. We'll go ahead and interact with it. I think you also get something for completing Dragon Quest 1. Let's see. The Trouble-Free Travel Kit, I believe, is from pre-ordering the game, because I had it in Dragon Quest 1 and Dragon Quest 3. Go ahead and take those. Everything here you can get throughout the main game. I'll go over the big item we get from here in a second. And then Marvelous Makeover Kit. I want to say this is from having Dragon Quest 3 data. It really sucks that I'm going to be throwing this on right now, but I'm gonna, and you guys are going to see why. So what we got there was the elevating shoes and the cat suit. We go to our equipment. We can check out the elevating shoes. What it does is it increases our luck by 50, but more importantly, we get experience with every single step we take. It is absolutely insane. Again, you can get this much later in the game, but I will be throwing it on just because I pre-ordered the game, I might as well. It doesn't make a huge difference. It really just helps with your early levels. It makes it so you don't have to grind as much. About level 12, it starts to fall off pretty hard, but for the first couple levels, it'll be pretty good. And then the big one, the cat suit. You can see here, this increases our defense by over 20, I think it's 21. This will be outclassed here in like a few episodes, but early on, this is just such a good defense to get. And of course, if you look at what our character looks like now, and you put on the cat suit, we look a little bit different. I always hate the way it looks. I think it's funny, but I don't like having my character look different than they do normally. That goes for any of the games. Right there we get 9 coins and a medicinal herb. But went ahead and threw it on just because it's a little bit better. They will look like this inside battle as well. It's one of the reasons I don't really like it. But it's a better suit that we'll be using for a while. Now let's go ahead and when we're ready, talk to this lady. Highness, just the man I wish to see. I'm waiting the delivery of a consignment of goods from Fair Moonbrook. It should have been here yesterday, and yet nothing. And yet, alas, due to their sorry state of affairs, my shelves are nigh bare. Though if you would still like to peruse them, you would be most welcome. And this is just going over shops that sell items, which looks like the little wing, and then weapons and armor, which look like the swords. And then we can buy stuff here if we want to. I don't think there's anything we can even afford to buy right now, or anything worth it. So I think we're just gonna not buy anything right now. The merchant of Moonbrook with whom I deal is a most punctual soul. Not once has he failed to appear ere now. But men are never or ever wont to oversleep, or to otherwise tarry. All is well, I am sure. Well, well, if it isn't not my dear friend Prince Charmless. Heir to mighty Erdrick, and yet unable to cast so much a spell to ward off warts. Have you not better to do than fritter away your days in idle conversation? Still thine impertinent tongue, thou saucy rogue. Idle conversation indeed. The prince doth a great kindness to us all in speaking with us for our woes and worries. What quarrel hast thou with such a noble and upstanding young fellow, huh? No, I merely thought that, being hero and future king both, it might not befit our prince to rely on main force alone. And that a word of warning to that effect might aid him in his growth. Thou thinkest thyself fit to counsel princes? Ha! Then thou art bone-headed indeed. Begone, swaggering oaf, away with you. Leveled English. Forsooth, fear not, Highness. The people thy know full well the purpose of thy daily tour of the town, and of how diligently thou practiced thy swordcraft each and every afternoon. Pay no heed to the pratings of green-eyed and nincompoops. We stand firmly at thy back. But I have kept thee too long already. Away to the practice ground, and may fortune attend thee. Yeah, man, I really hate talking about, or talking in Old English. I do it. I'm glad later Dragon Quest games, I think like after 3, they don't do that anymore. I think it's just, well, I think even in 3, because 3 takes place in a different world, they don't speak like that anymore. But yeah, 1 and 2 they do. Well, here we go. We got to talk to the captain of the guard. That way we can do some training.
Highness, come, the practice ground awaiteth. Though I fear there is precious little left for me to teach thee. Despite thy youth, thy skill already approacheth mine own, nay, exceedeth it perhaps. To have tutored such a prodigy in the arts maketh me right proud. But I am yet captain of the guard, and have pride of mine own to think of. I do not mean to yield to thee just yet, young prince. Make ready!
These wounds! Friend, what misfortune hath befallen thee?
I'm glad during voice cutscenes it gets rid of my cat suit.
Wherefore wouldst thou abandon thy post at Moonbrook Castle? And how came thee to be injured so?
My wounds matter not. The king, I must speak with him. Please.
Of course. His Majesty will see him, surely. Come, we will take you there.
What is the meaning of this? What hath befallen thee, friend?
Majesty, Moonbrook Castle. Attacked. Monsters. A great horde of fiends.
Stay with us. I beseech thee.
Fear not, brother. We shall meet again.
No!
He did his duty to the last, and expended his final breath that we might learn of the assault on Moonbrook. His was a grit and forbearance granted to few, and he must be given a burial befitting such heroism. It seemeth ill deeds are afoot in the kingdom of Moonbrook, but we do not yet know the full truth. Pray, do not speak of this until such time as the facts of the matter have been ascertained, lest panic spread needlessly among the populace. Sire, in the meantime, make ready to defend the city. I would speak with my son. Come, child, below with thee.
Okay, Dad. Does it just want me to go down south? I guess he just wants us to leave. Hello, Father.
Another such tragedy befell our world some decades since. A great monstrous horde laid waste to the land of Renderak. The horde was commanded by one who styled himself High Priest Hargon, fearful that the High Priest's minions might make Middenhall their next port of call. My father did shore up the kingdom's defenses and set his men to watch for monsters on the horizon. I must confess that the further the tragedy drifted in time, the more I had thought the danger past. But the similarities between the assault just now reported and the one my father described cannot be denied. Could this be another Renderak? I hardly dare believe it. We must ascertain the facts of what hath befallen Moonbrook as soon as we are able. I would have thee journey to Cannock, there to share these unfortunate tidings with the king of that realm. None can afford to remain ignorant if the Horde is abroad. Thence, thou must visit Moonbrook, and see with thine own eyes what hath befallen it. I must needs remain here to see to our defenses, as my father did before me. Wilt thou bear this burden on my behalf, beloved son?
Sure, Dad.
I am right glad to hear it. Now, before thou departest, a gift. A necklace, to be precise. The princess's pledge. Ere he became the first and greatest king of this land, thine ancestor, mighty Erdrick, did set out upon a perilous quest to defeat the Dragon Lord. This necklace was presented unto him by a certain fair maiden with whom he did forge a firm and lasting bond on his travels. It shall surely aid thee on thy path.
Notice how they don't speak like insane old English whenever they're voiced. They leave all those hard words to the NPCs that don't have voices.
Now away with thee. Venture westward from our realm, and thou shalt reach the village of Leftwine soon enough. From there, cast thine eyes northward, and thou shalt espy the castle of Cannock. As thou well knowst, in Cannock and Moonbrook both are to be found others, through whose veins floweth the blood of the hero of legend. Take care, my child. I have faith that thou wilt see thy duty done.
Yeah, all they give you is like thou and hast. They don't actually give you anything too crazy. I'm actually curious if that counts as a... Okay, it's a key item. If you want to check your key items, you can go here in important items. I didn't know if those get count as a accessory or not. Before thou departest, Highness, pray take this. We received 200 gold coins and some items for his journey, and put them in my bag. We knew that this peace could not last, and yet for Moonbrook to have fallen is a blow beyond imagining. Know that his majesty sends thee forth as duty dictates. He is, after all, a king, and a descendant of mighty Erdrick to boot. But he is also a father, and I do not doubt that he will fret most mightily for thy safety on the road. I beg of thee, take care. Thank you, Chancellor. You're not a bad guy. They're usually bad guys. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and head south. And we can finally leave our city behind. The city of Middenhall. I almost called it Cannock, since we're going there right now. But here we go. This is the overworld. You can press X to look at your map, as well as travelers, tips to do things. It's just useful information. I'm not really going to worry about that. But we're finally out here. You can see those little dots. You can see them to the southeast and the northwest of us. What those are they are like secret locations for us to find. So if we go there, there will be some items for us. So I'll be showing off all of those as we go. So let's just go ahead and start moving, shall we? Go ahead and start by grabbing this little sparkle item right here. These sparkles are just items that were left by travelers out in the world. I was hoping originally that they were back in Dragon Quest III. I was like, oh, these are characters. They're not. Like, you don't connect to Xbox Live or anything to find it. So here we go. We are finally into battle. There's a couple things you can do. You can change your tactics, just like every Dragon Quest game, to do things like Show No Mercy, which is where you just try to do as much damage as possible. Fight wisely, so that way you do a balance between offense and defense. Focus on healing. This is what your healer is most likely going to be set to the entire game. Don't use MP, is where they'll use abilities that do not use MP, or they'll use items to heal. Watch My Back is support and defending. I don't really use Watch My Back very often. I use the other four. And then Follow Orders lets you choose exactly what your character does. So starting here with your protagonist, your abilities include Mercurial Thrust, strike an enemy before anyone else can act. We have Cattle Prod, a strike that can deal heavy damage to a beast monster. and Flying Knee that is especially effective against airborne enemies, but nothing else. And as the boy said, we don't have any spells. So we're just going to go ahead and do attacks. We'll go ahead and get rid of this slime first. We already one-shot. Now, part of that is probably... And we take 1 damage, but I think that's because I have the cat suit on. And we hit level 2. Every fight, you get a little bit of XP and a little bit of gold. And your stats go up. I want to grab this item real quick. Our destination, by the way, is all the way up there to the northwest. We will be making our way over there, but going to be grabbing some items as we go. And has a leather shield and an oak club. I think both of those might be better. Oak club, no. We actually start with really good items. Holy. I don't even think we started this good of items back in Dragon Quest 1 or Dragon Quest 3. Something I will be doing, and we'll be doing it probably going forward, after we fought a couple enemies in a dungeon or in the world map, I likely won't be showing off any more fights. The reason for that is, you can see there, the fights are very easy, especially early game. We level up again. But honestly, the amount of fights you do in Dragon Quest is like, I would say probably 25 to 40% of the actual game. So I just don't want to be dragged down by a bunch of fights over and over again. But right here, you can see we have these little dots around us, and I believe it's this little boulder right here. It's actually a secret location. So these are secret spots. Essentially, there are people in here and items in here that you can get. So first, we're going to go ahead and come over here to grab the chest. They all follow the same layout, but they all will have different items. So like this is the rock and tree layout. Any that have a rock and a tree will follow this exact same layout. We actually can't equip that Divine Dagger on our current character, so that's why I'm not going to do it yet. Then we're going to head northwest because we can see that sparkle right up there. So we'll go ahead and grab that. On top of that, we will be cutting out a lot of the just travel. What I mean by that is if it's a place we've already been to, or it's a place that, like if we're leaving a dungeon and we don't have evac or we can't evac, then we'll be just cutting out all of that. Along with some random encounters, and I just want to focus on like the actual exploration. I want to focus on the story, the big boss fights. I don't want to focus on just doing meaningless travel to get from town to town over and over again, especially without zoom. I also don't want to focus on just random enemies we get. There's Stone's Throw, another ability we can get on our main protagonist. And right up here we get a Seed of Agility, as well as a Seed of Strength. Then we're going to go west. We're going to go back to where we saw that that last sparkle we got with the Oaken Club and the Shield. Go ahead and get rid of these enemies. Honestly, also what I like to do, especially early on, if you just do show... Ooh, no, I don't want to waste MP. Don't use MP. All you're going to do early on, you're going to be able to one-shot most of these guys anyways. So you can just kind of spam A and get through a lot of these early game fights. Later on, you're going to want to control your characters a lot more. But for now, it's not a huge deal. The one thing I do wish about Dragon Quest games is I wish we had a little bit more of a zoomed out mini-map. But you can see we're just getting into a ton of encounters. Another thing you'll want to know is that if you're on dirt roads or plains, you have a lower encounter rate. So because we're going through a forest right now, a forest technically has a medium encounter rate. I think the highest are the mountainy areas. So that means that we're just going to have a higher amount of enemies that we fight when we're out in those forests. But if you're following the dirt road, you usually won't get into too many fights. Next place we want to head to is actually right down here. It's directly south from where we found the Sparkle. We'll go ahead and just get rid of these guys. The Mollusk and the Bunny Corn. There's going to be another Sparkle for us to get. We're leveling up a ton right here, because we're going to level up off this too. Yep, level 5. Part of that is because we have this, the shoes on that are giving us XP as we walk. But honestly, you're probably going to hit the level I'm going to hit even without the shoes on. And we'll grab this one for a Seed of Stamina. Now we're going to return to the sign right there. And we're going to keep heading west till we find another Sparkle. Should be just right next to that poison swamp that we're going to over here. I'm used to Octopath where I can just zoom out really quickly. And you can just see how many random encounters we're getting into. There is a reason we're going to be skipping through a lot of these. But there's a medicinal herb and an antidotal herb. And then west of the poison swamp is that secret spot we want to go to. So let's go ahead and head over there real quick. We don't want to touch the poison swamp if we can avoid it. It should be this rock area right here. And in here, hanging on a tree, should be a bag with our next mini medal. There we go. And we can talk to her, but I don't think we really need to. There is one last thing for us to find here. It should be a pot, but these are typically, like, hidden. Where is it? Sometimes they're obstructed by, like, the trees. No, not right there. I thought I saw it there. Maybe it's back behind. Yeah, it's right there. There we go. 132 gold coins. And now we're going to be heading to our first town. This is the town of Leftwyn. We're just going to be coming to these towns. Most of them don't actually have anything, at least not yet. But we are just coming here to basically ransack their town and loot everything. You can save the game. Fearless Adventure save frequently. That is the FASF, the acronym. I've never heard that. We're going to go ahead and head over here. And there will be a pot right here we can grab with a phial of holy water. And up here will be a pot with 3 gold coins. And then on the south side of the inn, we should find our next barrel. We don't need anything from that item shop. That's why I'm just going to skip over it. 10 more gold coins. And this pumpkin right here should... Oh, right there. Have a seed of agility for us. Right up here, there's a pot next to this horse for an antidotal herb. Then we're going to go ahead and enter the inn for our next few items. So come up here. We don't really need to heal right now. We just hit a level up, and we're taking 1 damage at this point, so really not a big deal. We're going to go ahead and grab this for a 17 gold coins, and then interact with the other one for a medicinal herb. Can't open that chest yet. We will be back later. And this drawer has a seed of agility for us. Now we're going to head over to the equipment shop, which should be just northwest. There'll be a barrel outside of it with a seed of luck right here. We can buy... If we check here, we can actually see there's some good weapons. We could buy this chain sickle if we're having trouble defeating enemies. I'm not going to buy it because we're going to be getting one here soon. But that is a good pickup. We just don't have the money right now to afford buying a lot of this stuff. We're actually, for most of this game, going to be relying on very, very specific purchases. But also, we're going to be relying on things we find in dungeons. It's just not worth the grind to get the money for it. Over here, we can find 2 barrels. One has the medicinal herb, and the other one has 7 gold coins. And then upstairs, we can find 2 dressers. One has a leather hat, and the other one has some clothes. You're going to be finding plain clothes throughout the entire game. And then over here on this side, we'll find our next mini medal. And that's it for this area. And all we have to do now is leave this area. That's everything we can buy here. We're going to make sure we save at the church just because I haven't actually done a save yet. And so I'm a little bit concerned that... Because if you die, you actually can just retry. There's autosaves. There's tons of ways to, like, be safe. There's autosaves. You can just refight fights if you do lose it. I just like to make sure we have a save going, at least between episodes, but I haven't thrown one down yet besides the starting one, so let's go ahead and quickly make a save, and then we'll go ahead and leave town and make our way to the city of Cannock. It's very, very close. We're only going to have a couple stops to make before we actually get there. I'm going to try to finish everything up in Cannock before we end off the episode, so let's just go ahead and head on back out to the world map. We'll see our first sparkle we're going to grab is right up there in the little mountainous area. See how many... Ooh, are we going to be safe? I think... Oh, no, of course we got into 1. And from that fight, we hit level 6. Right up here, we'll have this sparkle. And then you can actually see this lake right here that we're walking up to. And just north of that lake, I wish I could see it from here. There's going to be a sparkle up there. I think we'll just walk around to the east side of the lake. We'll be able to see the sparkle once we just wrap around here. There's also going to be a secret spot to the northeast of the lake anyways, so we might as well just wrap around to get the sparkle that we want. I think it's right there. Yep, perfect. This was between the two lakes. So we'll grab this sparkle for a copper sword. I think we actually already have a copper sword on us. Yes, we do. And you can see our next secret location is just northeast of it. You can kind of see it's that little tree surrounded by the rocks just northeast of where we're at right now. We'll get rid of these bunny corns and drackies real quick. As we're running up here too, this is officially my second to last game on the Dragon Quest series. I have now played, once we beat this, 1 through 6. I've beaten 7, or I've beaten 8, 9, and 11. 10 is not available in America officially. I will plan on playing that just in my own time. But yeah, after I've played 7, I've played all the American released Dragon Quest games. Right here is a barrel for 5 coins. Or no, that's the plain clothes. I guess this barrel is the one with the 5 coins. Yep, there's our 5 coins. And then there should be another barrel right here with an antidotal herb. And the final one is right up here. This one will have a magic water. And that's it for this area. And that's actually everything before we get to the city of Cannock. So we'll go ahead and leave. And Cannock is just directly west through this little mountainous area. So let's go ahead and run on over there. We hit level 7 from a little fight here with some drackies. And we learn muster strength. That's an ability that's going to, I believe that's the one where you skip a turn, but then you do double damage on your second turn. We can actually just find out right here. We'll go follow orders. Flying needs to be good on both those. Yeah, builds up energy to bolster the next attack. I can also just show off. You'll see that it's glowing. This is what I mean if you have the thing turned on that lets you see what enemies are vulnerable against. So like if we use that on the Draki, it's going to do more damage than any other attack would do. It's also going to do more damage against flying enemies than it would do otherwise. It does use MP though. So there we go. Defeated those enemies. And now let's just go ahead and keep going west. We can see the city of Cannock is just right there. Please don't get in any more Draki fights. Perfect. The city of Cannock. Now, we're just going to go ahead and plunder the town once again. It's actually a very small town. I think majority of it is inside the castle. Right there are 6 gold coins. We can go ahead and head over here, and there will be a pot with a bamboo pole. We can head inside for our next mini medal. It should be inside this dresser right here. And if we actually read this, it tells you about scrolls. Scrolls were things in the first game. I don't actually know if they're in this game. I'm assuming they are because they're telling you about it. But essentially gives you access to spells. That's how you would get spells and abilities back in Dragon Quest 1. So now, we're going to go ahead and leave and head up these stairs. This barrel outside the inn has a pot lid. And we can find 2 more barrels with some coins and a seed of defense in them. Then inside the inn, we actually probably... Nah, we just leveled up. I guess we don't need to use anything. Go ahead and grab this bag for 15 gold coins. And the pot inside here for a medicinal herb. And that's it for this area. We can go ahead and go further up to get to the equipment shop. We're not going to buy anything here. Once again, we just don't have the money for it right now. But again, better items if you really want them. The Iron Lance is better for your main character. And then, gonna go up here to the garden, and I actually think it might be up here. Yes. This is the Tangle Web, an item for us. Now it's time to go ahead and enter the castle. We're gonna go meet the Prince of Cannock. We'll go ahead and head to the east side here to find these stairs leading down. And this pot right here is going to have an antidotal herb for us. Now let's head down to the prison. There will be a barrel and a pot in here for us. One of them will have a mini medal. There we go. And the other will have a holy water. Perfect. And then we're going to return to the main area, and we're going to head north. We're not going to go to the throne just yet. Instead, we are going to go north to reach the prince's room, or princess's room, rather. We can talk to her if we want to. Cousin, it feels like years since last you visited. Have you come seeking your playmate, my dolt of a brother? Lass, he is abroad on an errand of such surpassing foolishness that I dare not speak of it. I actually thought he was going to be joining us right here. Wow. That's kind of unfortunate. We can get a bronze knife. And the crack scroll. Okay, so we do get scrolls in this game. I don't think I want to use it yet. I'm scared. I don't want to use it just yet. And then I think we can check this bookcase for 136 gold coins. And then, once we're ready, we'll go ahead and just head on over to the throne room.
Well met, young Middenhall.
How thou art grown since last we saw thee. Yet the furrow of thy brow suggesteth all is far from well.
Sounds! Moonbrook is fallen? Her armies laid waste by a vast horde of fiends? Yet as thou sayest, we have but one soldier's word. It would behoove us to learn the truth before acting unduly. Wait! Pray, take our boy with thee.
Though some regard him as something of a featherbrained sort, he is assiduous in his daily training with sword and spell.
Where art thou, boy? Thy presence is required in the throne room.
Whatever is the matter, Daddy? If you were looking for that wayward brother of mine, I'm afraid you shan't find him here. He set off for the wellspring of the hero earlier this morn.
Even now, he marcheth to the beat of a drum entirely his own. Mine apologies, fair prince. Yet I could not forgive myself wert thou to go companionless and any harm were to befall thee. Wouldst thou be willing to journey to the wellspring of the hero and bring back my son?
Sure.
Forgive us for troubling thee so, but we should be ever grateful.
Once thou hast located our boy, do see he is returned to the castle. There are matters I would see discussed before you two depart. Is my cousin Moonbrook no more?
We do not know that, dear. Let us not dwell on that we cannot control, but turn our attentions to that we can.
Quite. Summon the Chancellor. The kingdom must be fortified.
Before we do anything else, though, we're actually going to head over here. We can go up this staircase in order to get an item from this pot with 26 gold coins. And now, time to just leave the castle. We got nothing else to do here. We got to go find the Prince of Canik. And turns out he's not here.
Quickly, in here! What was all that talk of Moonbrook just now? Good gracious! That is terrible news. And I can well understand why Father is loath to let you go alone. Then it is decided. I will accompany you on your hunt with my darling brother. After all, if he is to play his part as a scion of the hallowed hero, then so must I. It is as I always say, age is no excuse to laze. I hardly think that Mummy and Daddy dearest will allow me to join you on your journey to Moonbrook. But at the very least, I can help you find my brother, can't I?
Sure.
Wonderful! Well, now that is settled, let us prepare to depart. Adventure awaits. But first I must dress for the occasion. Step outside for a moment, please. Well, what do you make of my travelling togs? I sewed them myself, you know. Honestly, you boys wouldn't know needlework if it poked you in the eye. When a lady asks for your opinion on her outfit, you say it's stunning or breathtaking, or if you're feeling particularly adventurous, sublime beyond belief. Anyway, on the subject of feeling adventurous, let us be off. Oh, and pray do not stand on ceremony. I have a name for a reason. By all means, call me by it.
So you can decide on a name, but we're just going to stick with the default one, Matilda.
Now that is settled, let us fly to the east, over field and forest, and down into the depths of the earth. The wellspring of the hero awaits.
And so Matilda joins the party, at least till we find her brother. I don't actually know if she's a temporary party member or if she is permanent, but as far as we know, she's going to be leaving once we find her brother. So, a royal guest. Cannock's finest is along for the ride. While with you, the princess will help fight against any enemies you cross swords with. However, she hasn't officially decided to join your party just yet. The independent-minded miss won't take any orders from you, nor allow you to rifle through her items or equipment. Well, makes it a little bit easier for us. And here we go. These are the scrolls. Okay, so they can only be used on one character, so be careful who you use them on. I'll be showing you who I'm going to be using them on as we go through here, but don't just use them without thinking about it first, because you might end up missing out. Now, I think we will end the episode off once we've actually gone to the place we need to go to find her brother. So let's go ahead and go back out to the world map. We have a couple places to stop on our way there. You can see we need to head, I believe it's all the way over there, which actually isn't too bad of a walk. It's just up north. However, there's a secret area we can kind of see down here to the southwest in the desert area. Honestly, I don't even think the princess is going to be that useful for me. I can just show off, even if I attack. I mean, I don't know if she's going to do anywhere near as much as we do. Oh no, she casts magic, so I guess that's where she's useful. Yeah, if she's casting magic for free without having to worry about MP, it's actually going to be pretty solid. And there we go, level 8 for Tails. I don't think she'll level up. I think she's static. And right here in this palm tree, we'll have our first secret spot. There will be a chest in the center with a new headgear for us. Actually, I think the hardwood headgear is the exact same we currently have on. Is it better than the turban? Yeah, just a little bit. We'll go ahead and throw that on. And then, to the left of that is a mini medal. There we go. And now, we'll go ahead and leave this area. And we can see that sparkle right up there. We're going to go ahead and grab that real quick before we head off to our final destination here. Oh, I don't want to miss out on the whole reason we came here. Vial of holy water. And now we're just going to go ahead and start walking east. What we're going to do is we're actually going to go straight east. We're going to go back to that secret spot, and then we'll cross that bridge just east there. So I'll meet you guys back at that secret spot that we went to right before we made it to Cannock. So here we are. That's the secret spot right up there. This is the bridge we're going to cross. And I got to say, Matilda's kind of bad. She does like, I mean, don't get me wrong. We're stronger, and we're stronger because we probably have a little bit more levels than you might necessarily need at this point. You'll see she did like 9 damage right there because she's trying to put them to sleep, and I have no control over what she does. So, like, she doesn't really do anything half the time. Yeah, wow. It took you 2 hits with Sleepy Sap to get rid of him. 3 turns, in fact, to get rid of 1 enemy. There we go. We level up to level 9. And we learn Helm Splitter. That lowers the defense of the enemy. And then we're just going to go ahead and kind of follow this path all the way up here till we reach our next secret spot, which will be right outside of the wellspring of the hero. It should be... It's literally right outside of it, but it's a question of which... Okay, it's that rock right there. In here, we will find the item I was just talking about when we were at our last town. We get access to the chain sickle. And over here to the right, there's this bag right here, which will have some gold for us. So that chain sickle, the way sickles work, as well as boomerangs, it's basically boomerangs and whips, is that you're going to attack a group of enemies instead of, well, you do that anyways, you choose a group of enemies, but you'll actually attack all of them. However, the downside is the more you hit, the less damage you're actually going to be doing to subsequent enemies. But either way, let's go ahead and enter the wellspring of the hero to finish up this episode. We'll go ahead and run through this dungeon. It's very short. Spring itself is a little further in. That is where we shall find my brother performing his ablutions. Normally he forgoes the bath entirely, but today, of all days, he chose to soak himself in holy water. You too must think his timing leaves a little to be desired. Yup. Right? Still, I must not do with him down unduly. Though his wits may be scattered, his heart is always in the right place. Now, enough chitter-chatter. Let us find the heir to Cannock's crown. And you'll see we have a couple chests we can grab here. So we're going to go ahead and head up here. And we're just going to follow this path. The first chest we can get to over here to the south. Am I sprinting right now? Man, this dungeon seems a little bit long. We're not getting into a bunch of encounters, but it seems a little bit longer. Wow, it's throwing these at us already. So these are typically enemies. I don't think you'd see this early. Oh, wait, is the chain whip not an actual whip? Oh, it's a chain sickle. It's not a whip. Oh, that's my fault. Yeah, so this is still just a regular weapon. I thought it was the chain whip, not the chain sickle. Chain sickle is still a single target weapon. Right here, we'll find a chest with a chimera wing. And now, we're going to go up to the east, and we're going to follow this path all the way around until we reach the chest that you can see just south of us. Okay, so along this path will be just a single chest that we can grab for a suit of shell armor. We'll go ahead and equip that on my character. No, it's not as good as my dumb cat armor. Now we're just going to go all the way back up to where we were just at, that little intersection right there that led us to that first chest, and we'll actually head, we will head east in order to go down to the basement. We do hit level 10 right before we get back to that intersection. No new spells or anything learned, but here we are. We're going to go ahead and head east now, down the stairs. And in here, we're just going to have a couple chests we can grab. Right there's 37 gold coins, a wayfarer's clothes, and then on the right here, there are 2 pots, one with a seed of wisdom, and one with 10 coins. And that's really it. We're just going to go ahead and run to the end of this dungeon. Along the way, there is one last chest right before we get to the actual wellspring itself, which will have a seed of luck in it. And then that'll be it for this dungeon and the episode. Hopefully the Prince of Cannock will join us. We'll just go ahead and quickly get through these guys. But yeah, you can see Matilda does nothing. And then, of course, we're fighting Heel Slime, so this is going to be a little brutal. We're just going to rely on Tails actually having to get the kills. Hopefully he decides to target the Heel Slime, since I'm not choosing the targets for him. Come on, Matilda, you got this. Nope. Tails will finish it off, though. And so, right over here, we can see just north is our destination, but one last chest for us to grab. Right here will be a seed of luck. Then, time to just head up north through this little bridge area. Is that the prince? I can't make him out. No, that's a sage of some kind. You have done well in reaching the wellspring of the hero, Wanderers. The young Prince of Cannock himself did partake of its blessing just a short while prior. Drat and bother? Do you mean to say we have missed him? Alas, it seemeth so. Mayhap you will find him in Middenhall? His Highness mentioned that he meant to visit the castle once the rite was complete. Why must he test my patience so, and why Middenhall? Oh, it hardly matters. Come, let us hurry after him, lest he escape us again. Highness, full aware I am of the urgency of thy quest, yet I fear the stormy waters of my heart may lead thee astray. It is for you of Erdrick bloodline to steer the people of this fair realm through the storm, not to be tossed hither and thither by it. Yes, I know, sorry. Then come, cleanse yourself in its blessed waters, and pray for the favor of mighty Erdrick. I speak to thee as well, Prince of Middenhall. O hero of legend, grant those who walk the path of the Savior thy guidance and protection. The ritual is complete. May you walk in the light of the goddess. Movement in a mere moment. You can use the zoom spell or a chimera wing to return to any towns, castles, or dungeons you've been to before. Now, these methods of transportation will cause you to shoot up in the air, but feel free to use them indoors by all means. You'll fly right through any bothersome ceilings that you've ordinarily get in your way. Magic. That is just a great thing that they've added in the remakes. On top of that, you can assign shortcut commands. The reason I haven't yet is because we don't have any spells actually worth using. But yeah, our objective has now been updated. You can see on the world map, our destination is to head back to Middenhall, but I think we're going to go ahead and wind things down here. In the next episode, we'll try to track down the Prince of Canik. I will see you guys then.